How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. This is Music Misfit, back with another video today. Today we're diving back into Magic the Gathering. Specifically, let's talk about the Pauper format. Ready? Let's dive in. First, you may be asking yourself, well, what is Pauper? Pauper is a non-rotating Magic the Gathering format in which cards only printed at the common rarity are legal for play. Now, I can imagine what you must be thinking. Well, if there's only commons in the format, it must be pretty slow and boring and generally just unfun and sluggish. Well, to that I say, hell no. Pauper is so deceptively powerful, with some decks that win as early as turn 3 or 4, and you get access to such powerful cards such as Exhume and Brainstorm. Not only that, but Pauper has access to already well-established archetypes that are seen in other formats, such as Delver of Secrets tempo decks, and Affinity for artifacts, as well as reanimation strategies, and even the Urzatron strategy. First, let's begin with some of these popular strategies that you should be aware of while you construct your first Pauper deck. For briefness sake, I'll only be covering 3 decks in this video, with more coming in the future as well as some in-depth primers and sideboarding guides for each respective deck. Starting with the current king of the Pauper format, let's look at the Delver Secrets deck. Delver decks come in a variety of different shells, the most popular of which being the Blue-Red is Delver shell. These decks have a huge toolbox with access to cards such as Delver Secrets, Brainstorm, Ponder, Preordain, as well as a Pauper powerhouse Gush, which allows you to draw 2 cards by either returning 2 islands to your hand, in other words, for free, or even paying its mana cost. The deck's creature toolbox varies depending on the color combination you go with. Mono blue and blue-red strategies tend to utilize the Fairy Miscreant, Ninja Devours for their card draw, as well as Augur of Bolas, and then Spellscatter Sprite in order to use the Fairy subtype to give yourself a counterspell in the body. It's pretty useful. Variants that splash black get access to Gurmag Angler, one of the biggest, fattest threats in the format, as well as a healthy amount of additional creature removal such as Disfigure, Ghastly Demise, and Snuff Out, just to name a few. There are even some lists which splash green in order to gain the value of threshold threats. These include Werebear and Nimble Mongoose, which more or less buff themselves whenever they have a certain amount of cards in the graveyard, namely 7. As you can see, in the Delver list alone, there's plenty of variety and tweaking that can be done to build a deck however you please. However, that's not the only one that we have a lot of variety in. Let's dive into Elves. Elves, much like its modern and legacy counterparts, seeks to swarm the board with small creatures that can produce mana, otherwise known as Mana Dorks. These Mana Dorks include Llanowar Elves, Finhorn Elves, Elvish Mystic, and Priest of Titania, and last but certainly not least, Quirion Ranger. In order to dump out your hand as fast as possible to either go wide and hit you with more creatures than you could possibly block, or utilize your massive board presence with the use of Timberwatch Elves in order to make one of your unblocked elves a huge monstrosity. Elves support this game plan by either making more elves when they play elves through the use of Liz Alana Huntmaster, or incredible card draw spells such as Lead a Stampede and Distant Melody, which more often than not will draw you multiple cards directly from your deck. As you can imagine, Pauper's diversity can allow for some pretty degenerate strategies, and one from Modern just so happened to sneak its way in here. Let's get into Urzatron. Yes, as unfortunate as it may sound, the Tron lands have in fact been printed into Pauper, and there are many exploits to be had, so let's take a look. Unlike its bigger brother Greentron in Modern, Paupertron looks to take its strategy in a more grindy route through use of counter magic such as Condescend, Negate, and Prohibit, as well as filtering their hand with cantrips such as Impulse and Mystical Teachings. They use these cantrips in order to shape their hand to either cast a huge Rolling Thunder with their massive amount of mana produced from the Tron lands, or to simply loop enter the battlefield effects of cards such as Denrova Horror in order to grind your opponent's resources down until you have nothing left, or to even just value out with a Mole Drifter constantly entering the battlefield. They supplement its plan with constant spell and creature recovery thanks to Haunted Fengraf, Pulse of Marasa, and a Mnemonic Wall. And even if this somehow doesn't stall you enough, it also gains access to numerous fog and life gain effects in order to survive your various attempts to bring them down. And I say it was in this moment that Pauper players realized, even in their comfy home of commons, they simply cannot escape the tyranny of the Tron lands. Rest in peace, my dudes. Rest in peace. All this being said, Pauper has tons of different viable decks, and has some of the best format diversity in all of Magic the Gathering. Not only does this allow for fun and interesting gameplay, but also a great starting point for new Magic the Gathering players, as arguably one of the most cheap Magic constructed formats, with Magic tick prices for Pauper usually ranging around 10 to 50 ticks, or paper prices for those who want to play physical will range from $30 to $80. Anyways, that's all for me for right now. I'd like to give a huge thanks to Avonlight for helping edit all these videos as he has lately. It's been a huge help. I simply could not be able to make this content without him. I also like to thank Wilder Vaughn because his music work has been stellar, and I simply cannot be more thankful to have these people on my team helping me make this content. I'd love it if you could go check them out. Their social media descriptions will be in the end card as well as down in the description below. Please remember to leave a like if you liked this video, dislike it if you disliked it, leave your feedback down in the comments below. And if you're excited, feel free to share this video with your friends and subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be first to hear when my new content comes live. Anyways, that's all for me for now. This is Music Misfit, logging off. See you later.